I'm now going to give the risk-return implications of the basic portfolio, that portfolio from our last module where we had a stock index fund and a bond index fund. For this example, we are going to use two funds, Vanguard 500 Index Fund, VFINX, so you can look that up there, and Vanguard Intermediate-term Treasury Fund, VFITX. What we're going to do is download data from Yahoo Finance, calculate the returns and risk of these two portfolios, the correlation coefficient, and see what that would look like in a portfolio model. I'm going to do that in an Excel demonstration. I'm now going to show you that Excel spreadsheet. It is linked in the video description of this module, and it's also on our Compass website. I've downloaded Vanguard 500 Index Fund shares, Vanguard Intermediate-term Treasury Fund. We've got daily returns beginning at October 28th, 1991. Calculate, just as we have in the past, return for Vanguard 500, return for our index fund, calculated the mean, geomean, and standard deviation, as well as the correlation coefficient. We also annualize those over here, and again, look at those on our if you want to look again, this is what we've always done. And I'm going to bring that over here into this page. You're going to do this in a homework module, but here it is. We got the Vanguard 500 Intermediate-term Treasury Fund, Index Fund. Our Index Fund for that period from 1991 till 2020 had a 9.8% mean, 18.4% standard deviation. Our Vanguard Intermediate-term Treasury Fund, 5.5, 4.9. And a correlation coefficient, minus 0.22. This is part of the reason why Bogle says combine a stock index fund with a treasury fund because of this negative correlation. We then calculated the expected return and standard deviation of portfolios, just like we have in the past. This has zero weight on our index fund, so it's exactly the same return as that for our treasury fund. One is exactly opposite. All our weight is on our stock index fund, so it has exactly the same return as our stock index fund, and then in the middle we have these returns. All right, those are the risk and returns. Let me just show you. We go at 100%, 9.8 to 18.4, 75%, which is where John Bogle would say you should be at roughly your age, 8.7, 13.6, and then where I should be at, I'm roughly in between here, 7.6 or 6.6, 5.29. You can see we're lowering the standard deviation as we include more of the index fund. And here's our CV of returns. All right, so that is the risk and return. And as you lower the weight on the stock index fund, you then lower the weight on the expected return and the standard deviation, if those hold on to the future. All right, I want to further show what this would imply for future returns, and go to this future return page. And now I am showing here a 25% VFINX investment and 100% VFINX investment, and this 25% has a 6.6 annual return. You can see that right here, and this one 100% has a 9.8 annual return right here. All right, so those are our annual returns. And what I did was make them monthly, annual to monthly, and we said you're going to make a $400 investment each month in our project, and we're going to do that for 40 years or 12 months, 480 periods. If we made a 25% VFINX, 6.6% return on average, did that for 40 years, which isn't what Bogle's recommendation is, but here I just want to show you the difference. This function calculates the future value. If we made a $400 investment per period, 6.6, 480 periods, it's $890,000. So think about that. If you started today, you would have $890,000 at the end if you had a 6.6% return. If on the other hand you had a 9.8% return, you would have $2.1 million. All right? And therein, and that difference is $101.2 million. So you get a feel here for how much that over this time period influences the ending value. I want to do one more. Now I'm going to jump this from 25 to 75%. All right, and I'm going to take this and add this and go over here and take 75%. And let's format cell number. Let's 0.087%. It got a little bit long here. It's 1.5 million. So our difference went down by only $500,000. But again, you can see, all right, so if you here would do this return versus this return, you kept it for 40 years, you would be expected to have a difference of $545,000. All right, that gives you the implications of holding one asset in this over another, and gives you a feel for what those things look like as you're putting together retirement portfolios.